The replicants are back. People are saying this is as much a classic as the original. How do you see it?
I went in a state of extreme trepidation because I love Blade Runner the final cut, the proper version, and I went into this very, very worried about it. So it's set 30 years set 30 years after the first film. The first film, Harrison Ford was a Blade Runner. He hunted down and retired replicants. Now Ryan Gosling's Kay is carrying on that profession, and very early on in the film, one of Kay's targets says that he can only do it because he's never seen a miracle, a phrase which he doesn't understand, but which gradually, during the course of the movie, he comes to understand. And as he does so, he starts to wonder about his profession, about his job, about his past, about his identity. And inevitably, his assignment leads him on the trail of Harrison Ford's Deckard. Here's a clip.
What are you doing here? I heard the piano. Don't lie. It's rude. You're a cop. I'm not here to take you in. Oh, yeah? Then what? I just have some questions.
A lot of praise, actually, for Harrison Ford's performance. What did you make of that?
I think Harrison Ford is great, but I think the real key performance here is Denis Villeneuve, who is the director who, for my money, has done an absolutely brilliant job of following on the themes of the original Blade Runner. I mean, Ridley Scott's Blade Runner had visual awe, and thanks to some fantastic cinematography by Roger Deakins, this is a film that takes your breath away visually. You look at it and it's spectacular. It depicts a world that appears to go on forever, that's completely immersive, that you can totally believe in. It also has this kind of groaning, roaring soundtrack that dances around memories of Vangelis' original score. But most importantly, it has the confidence to take its time as it tells its story. And the original story, although it was a science fiction story, it was about what does it mean to be human? What do memories do in terms of the formation of our personality? How is it that we define our identity? These are big science fiction ideas. Blade Runner 2049 just says these are the ideas that matter, these are the ideas that we're going to run with. About 30 minutes into the film, when I realised that it really did have the confidence to take its time, to pace itself, I heaved a sigh of relief because I was so glad that Denis Villeneuve had clearly taken the spirit of the original. And I've seen it twice now. The first time I was just knocked out by the way it looked, the way it sounded, the way it was as a cinema experience. But the second time round, what was fascinating was how much it became like a melancholy experience. I mean, it is a film that is drenched in sadness. It is drenched in that idea of tears in rain, which is such a sort of key element to the original Blade Runner. And the wonderful thing is, if you're a fan, if you're a genre movie fan, and Blade Runner is important to you, and it is to me and to a lot of people, we really wanted this sequel to be good, but everyone was really scared because where are you going to take this story? How are you going to not trip up? And that sense of palpable relief and sort of ecstatic excitement that not only has Denis Villeneuve understood and loved and paid homage to the original, but he's moved it on. He's made something which is, a modern science fiction classic that looks back to Metropolis and, takes its place in the pantheon alongside films like 2001. And believe me, I really don't say this lightly, it is a film that Blade Runner deserved to have come after it. And I thought it was wonderful. I
mean, we've obviously seen the original. We're of that age. Do you have to have seen the original to enjoy this?
My own feeling would be, firstly, if you haven't seen the original, whether you're going to see this or not, go and see the original. It's, it's a really, really important film. But I think you do have to see the original. I mean, heaven knows it's available in enough different versions on DVD and Blu-ray.
7 versions, I read.
Yeah, but you have to see it and see the final cut, see the Ridley Scott, final version, which sorts out all the little problems. And because then the experience of watching Blade Runner 2049 will be much richer because you will understand the resonance of particularly things that happen in the latter third of the film. And anyway, who wouldn't want to see Blade Runner again? Who wouldn't?
Exactly. OK, The Glass Castle, yes. Brie Larson, Woody Harrelson.
Yes, based